Hey, what's up? It's Vanity. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to start answering some DMs of mine. I'm really excited because I get to shed some light on really good conversations I get to have. So let's get right into it. This message says, "Hey girl, curious about your insight on co-parenting. What steps have y'all or you taken to make sure you and dad are on the same page about your son? And could you share what's helped you after separating?" Asking because me and my daughter's father are in the process of separating and he's moving out soon. So here's the thing about co-parenting. Every situation and circumstance is just so unique. Separating or being separated from the other parent of your child can go so many different ways. Just like a lot of other things in life, there is no playbook on this. How that journey will look with the other parent is really going to depend on you and the other parent. And nothing can truly prepare you for what that journey is going to look like. When you have a child with someone, it really is a lifetime commitment. Sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't. It really is a unique situation to be in. This will be my first time kind of opening up about my co-parenting journey. And it's a lot to unpack, so there's definitely more conversations to come. But over the years, I've been asked similar questions quite often. Becoming a single parent is never the ideal experience. I mean, I never thought in a million years I would be a parent, let alone a single parent, and even be able to speak on this experience. But we're here. So my breakup happened at the very end of 2020. This December will make it 3 years since it really officially ended and I moved out of our house. My son was 3 at the time. He is now 6. There were a lot of moves, but his dad and I currently reside in the DFW area. He gets him every other weekend. And by the grace of God, we are cordial. I do and have always had a lot of respect for him as, of course, the father of my son. He's an amazing father, a very active father. Because he is not present, I definitely don't want to speak for him. I'm sure our experiences are very different. I can only speak on my experience and what that looked like. And that's what I'll be doing. So steps that were taken to kind of get us on the same page. I mean, there was a lot. It took us literal years to get to this point. It was not easy by any means. There was a lot of trial and error. I really don't even believe there's a magic step-by-step process to this, because to be on the same page, both parents, both parties need to willingly want to do that. And at the end of the day, a breakup, a separation happened. And most likely there's a lot of emotion and grief being processed. Obviously, there's indifferences of some sort, and most likely the communication is trash. Now, me personally, one major step that I did take to get us aligned was filing for child support. I tried my best to push that off. That's not something I wanted to do. I really considered it a last resort type of situation. It took me about 1.5 years to finally file. But that's why child support exists. A lot of those hard conversations are about visitation and finances. Child support mediation is how both parties typically get aligned. And that's the step I took. It's the step I feel like I had to take. I really kind of left it up to the court to figure out. Mediation was not the most fun, but it allowed us to kind of dead any communication about finances, visitation, decisions when it came to moving. And honestly, I feel like that step was really the one that catapulted us into being able to have a cordial relationship. Now, what's helped me after separating? There's 3 huge things. 1, keeping my son the priority and my emotions out of it. I really had to make sure that every decision I was making was the right decision according to my son's well-being. That's probably one of the most challenging parts, okay? It is hard when you go from a full functioning family, go from having, a partner who you love. This is a man who I thought I was going to marry and have more children with, to a complete, what feels like a business colleague type of relationship. It really does take a certain level of emotional intelligence that does not come overnight. And the quicker you accept the fact that you are no longer with that person and that the family won't look the same, the sooner you are kind of able to get to that emotional intelligence. 2, only worrying about what I had control over. All I could control was the way I showed up for my child and the environment I had him in. Which, as a parent, yes, that's very hard. But as a mom, that definitely was something difficult to process and get used to. When we had first broke up, I moved out the house, moved down the street, and we had agreed that we would get our son every other week. Those first few months of just adjusting to not being around my son was one of the most difficult things I've ever gone through. I had never really been separated from my child like that. I mean, it's so true. Mothers, we really do think we know what's best because we do, okay? It was hard for me to let go of that control. And even though I knew he was in a safe environment, even though I knew he was with the other parent, even though I knew he was with his dad, it still didn't sit right with me. I wanted to know everything that was going on, how his day at daycare went. Did anything happen? Did he get upset about anything that day? What did he eat? When did he eat? Is he good? Did he sleep okay? I mean, all those thoughts that any typical parent would have. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's essentially what co-parenting is. You start sharing that responsibility in a way that means full separation. And I'm not gonna lie, that took a good year before I could really start enjoying my time away from my child. Now I look forward to the weekends that I get to have me time. It's great. And the third big thing, not dwelling on the relationship. In my situation, I kind of was the person who really stood on the decision to end things. So not dwelling on that guilt, not dwelling on the life I thought I was going to have with the person I thought I was going to have it with in the way I thought I was going to have it. On the financial strife that happened afterwards. I mean, after the breakup, I had to do everything on my own financially, and that was tough. That's still a transition I'm working through to this day. And I mean, it is hard. For me, at least, it was not easy by any means because his dad and I, we got pregnant in college. We graduated college together. We moved together. We started our careers together. We bought a house together. I mean, we did all the things. There was one point where I felt like I was just miserable either way. I knew I wasn't necessarily happy in the relationship, but a few months into that single parent life, I was like, do I go back? Like what? Every day that I was spending dwelling on something, it was just making me more and more miserable. So I had to keep standing on the decision that I made. And I knew it was best for us not to be together at that time. And still, as of today, I mean, I would choose singleness over an unhealthy relationship. I'm all about a healthy relationship. I really do believe that if two people are meant to be, they will be. I think it's just God's timing. I'm definitely sending love to anyone who is maybe starting this journey or going through a breakup with their significant other where a child's involved. I can say now with confidence, 3 years later, that it was the best decision that could have been made for all parties, me, his dad, and our son. So do what feels right. Understand that two happy, whole parents to a child in separate households is way better than two unhappy parents in one household. I really hope this helped you if you took the time out to listen. And I will see you guys next time to answer our next DM.